Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 21 of my investing journey, where I share my weekly portfolio, ETF buys and sells, income progress, and how I'm building an income-focused portfolio over time. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my real portfolio and documenting the journey. As you can see, it was a good week. We're up to 9.53% year to date. Which actually, when you are at mid-May, almost at the end of May, is actually not bad at all. In terms of what we did this week, well, yes, we made our perennial $75 contribution. It is what it is. We're going to keep on doing this for as long as we can. We're trying to build long-term wealth. We have, what are we looking at? We're looking at 9 years and see where we are at the end. But, so far so good. We contributed the weekly $75. In terms of buys and sells this week, well, I didn't sell anything. I'm still waiting for Global X to publish the distribution for the CMCL fund that they just came out with. I spoke about a little bit last week. In terms of what I bought, well, I bought one share of HYLD, one share of HPYE, one share of HHIC, and one share of AGCC. This is just mainly consolidating positions, continuing to add to the core positions. So, it was just a simple accumulation week, right? No trimming, no rebalancing out, just continue to build on these positions. On the income side, well, I received $2.38. Yeah, so $1.19 for HPYE and $1.19 for HPYB. I'm expecting the remaining bi-weekly distributions to come in next week. And that will give us the final total for the month of May. In terms of portfolio performance, well, yeah, my portfolio remains in the green, which is very nice. It's now up to 9.53% year to date compared to 7.68 year to date last week. This is a really strong jump in 1 week, but it's not the highest we've been. The highest we've been was a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, when we're up to like about 10 odd percent, right? But yeah, it's not complaining. In terms of what happened last week and why did we go up so much, well, what can I tell you? AMD really went to the moon, right? It went up 10.28%. It surged after Nvidia's delivered blowout earnings. And obviously that optimism will spill over across semiconductors and the broader AI trade spectrum, right? Because AMD is leverage will obviously, it amplified AMD's move into another double-digit week, which is fantastic. If I recall correctly, that means that this position has now delivered 3 strong weeks in a row, which is pretty incredible for what's still only around 4% of my portfolio, right? But yeah, no, it's such a small position. It's been doing a lot of heavy lifting lately. I have to say, though, in terms of the quiet hero this week, well, it was 60. Yeah, that's right. Canadian banks had a very nice week. And, this is a good reminder that this part of the portfolio is not just there for distributions, right? It can also contribute on the price return side when the backdrop is supportive. So, yeah, no, so far, so good. In terms of the weaker side, well, what can I tell you? The weaker side remains what it is. Gold, uranium, silver is not here, but it wasn't very good either. Funnily enough, Broadcom was there. The thing about Broadcom is that it went down after Walmart's announcement last week. Which it's very interesting. I don't know exactly what the impact was on that, but yeah, no, I mean, it's still up in terms of like, last year, but yeah, it's think it went down. How much did it go down? It went down 2.62%. So yeah. Despite some midweek turbulence, I have to say this was still a broad-based positive week. We had 17 assets on the green, 3 assets on the red. So I'm going to call it for what it is, a damn good week. If I have to say, in terms of looking week to week, week-to-day rankings for last week, we have obviously AMDY, 10%, 64%, HDIF was up 3%, C-Day, S-Day, they were both up 2.8, 2.6%, HHSC was up 2.2%, Q-Day was up, HUB was up, QQCL was up, and the rest all the way down to like PayG, which was up to 0.18%. But yeah, no, that was pretty good. So in terms of if we have a key takeaway, obviously this was a textbook Nvidia week, right? Nvidia blow up and everything else just follow it. When Nvidia beats well, semiconductors rally, risk appetite improve, and a lot of the portfolio tends to benefit. And this was true again this week, My cover call delivered steady gains. My Canadian banks obviously surprised to the upside, which was great. And AMDY just keeps doing what it has been doing all month, which is putting up serious numbers. Only God knows how long this is going to last. But, for as long as it goes, we're going to enjoy the ride. As I mentioned before, the only weaker areas were the safe havens and energy security type names, especially gold and uranium, silver, yeah, a little bit too. Yeah, and this is because, everyone's hoping that if an Iran deal comes in, then, it reduces the fear premium, right? Looking ahead, the big thing that I'm watching for next week, obviously, is a short week because the US is closed on Monday. Is there going to be a final Iran-US deal announcement, right? As far as I'm concerned, that could still be the single biggest macro catalyst for my portfolio right now. If that happens, some of the safer haven names may stay under pressure, but much more of the portfolio will probably benefit from the risk on ton, right? So, overall, if I have to sum up this week, we added $75. We received $2.38 in distributions. We jumped up to 9.53 year to date. AMDY delivered again. Banks showed up finally. And then only 3 of my holdings finished on the red. So this is it for episode 21. Thanks for following along. If you like what you see, please do not hesitate to subscribe and give us a like. We are trying to reach 100 subscribers before the end of the year. And I will see you all next week for episode 22. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.